What's up, Internet? Today we're going to install a new set of chain and sprockets on my 2011 YZ250. I'm going to show you a couple of little pro tips along the way. Pro tip number one, guys, get yourself a set of Masterlink pliers. These, at a glance, they look like regular old pliers. But if you look closely, you can see that the jaws of the pliers are actually offset. One is a little bit longer than the other. And if we open these guys up, you can see in the center, they've actually got a groove cut out to fit right around the rivet on the chain. So these are built specifically for Masterlinks. And it just makes taking off and putting on the Masterlink clip super, super easy and super, super fast. Boom, there it is. There you go, man. What was that, 10-15 seconds? Next tip is a tire changing stand. You can see here that we've got the wheel on the stand elevated up in the ground, so you can just work with it in a really natural kind of position. We've got this wing nut here that's got the wheel clamped down, so it's not going to turn or move. This thing is great. If you change your own tires, you do a lot of riding, getting a tire changing stand will be beneficial in the long run. Alright guys, we got the old sprocket off. We're getting ready to put the new one on, and my next tip is never reuse the old sprocket bolts. I always get a new set of bolts and nuts, and I like to use primary drive just because they come with red Loctite already on, and the nuts have these self-locking pieces inside, and they're flared out too, so you don't need a washer to go with it. I'm not saying that you need to use primary drive. I'm just telling you the reasons why I like to use primary drive. If you have another brand that has Loctite already on the bolt and comes with self-locking nuts that are already flared out, go with it. Alright, we got the new sprocket on, we got the rear wheel back on the bike. I've tightened up my chain adjusters. Basically, I leave about 1/4 of an inch on the lock nut, the chain adjuster bolt, and that gives me a little bit more room to go forward, but most likely what will happen is we'll get our chain on there and we'll have to slide it back just a little bit. But I think 1/4 of an inch is a good starting point. And at this point, we're ready to take off the old front sprocket. It depends from bike manufacturer and bike model what gets used here. Yamaha likes these washers and these tabs that bend over help keep the nut from breaking loose. Other bike manufacturers like to use snap rings, and you can get snap ring pliers to take the snap rings off and on. It makes it a lot easier, kind of like the Masterlink plier for your chain. Nothing's more fun than air tools. This is my favorite way to take off the lock nut. I don't have a 32mm impact socket, so we're using a regular socket. That's a big no-no, but we'll get over it. Stupid easy. And here's a close-up of the washer Yamaha likes to use on the YZ250 two-stroke. Which brings me to my next pro tip. Never reuse these. I always use a new washer. Well, that's kind of a lie. I did one time reuse it, but you're supposed to always use a new washer. And the reason why I never reuse these is because the little tabs here that you bend over to keep the nut from being able to come loose, every time you bend those, you straighten them and then you rebend them back and forth over and over. They get weaker and weaker, and eventually they will break off if you reuse this washer too many times. Okay guys, we put the chain on, we measured it, we cut it down to size, and we're ready to snap our Masterlink clip back on. So one thing to note here is you always want to make sure that the open end of the Masterlink clip is facing towards the back of the bike. The reason for that is if it's facing forward, then the open part is actually moving forward with the chain, and a piece of debris or whatnot can actually knock the master link off the chain. And then bad things happen after that. Got our master link pliers. Let's go ahead and snap this guy on. Okay, we got the chain on. It's adjusted. As I predicted, I did have to slide the rear wheel back a little bit using the chain adjusters. Also, don't forget to line up your alignment marks. You have a mark on the swing arm, and then you have a mark on your axle blocks. And you want to make sure that those are the same on both sides so that your wheel is tracking nice and straight and true. Alright, the last thing left to do is torque this nut down, and we'll bend over the flaps so that it can't come loose while we're riding. And to do that, I actually like to have somebody sit on the bike, put it in gear, and apply the rear brake on the other side while I torque this guy down to spec. That's it, man. This video is done. So master link pliers, tire changing stand, not necessarily a requirement, but I think it does make it easier to work with the wheel. Air tools, if you have a compressor and you have an impact wrench, makes it super easy to take off the countershaft nut. Let's see, I think that's it, guys. This nice, beautiful blue sprocket. I've actually never gone with an anodized colored sprocket. I always go with the aluminum, so this is my first time running the sprocket. Oh yeah, and last but not least, always use new hardware. Sprocket bolts and washer if your bike uses a washer, or a new snap ring if your bike uses a snap ring. That's it, man. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and click that bell if you want to know next time I do another video. Later.